morning, boys and girls of the internet. Today is Wednesday, Hump Day, June 20th, 2018. Do vlog number 170. Okay, moving on up there. Before you know it, I'll be at like halfway point after half a year of vlogging. It's crazy. At any rate, I must be going senile or something. You know, on the walk from my desk at work downstairs to my car, I thought of something I wanted to talk about for today's vlog. At some point between thinking about it and getting in my car, starting my car, putting my phone up, I forgot what the hell I wanted to talk about. I'm stupid. But I did think about something else I wanted to mention. Now, as no surprise, I'm a big old geek, dork, nerd, whatever you want to call it. I'm into geek culture. I'm into a lot of things in that nature, and one of which is, of course, anime. And I've been watching anime for as long as I can remember. Not really for as long as I can remember. I know about exactly when I started watching anime. It was around 92, 93 era. That's when I first started getting into, reading American manga comics. We didn't really have manga back then. We had, like, Dark Horse used to get a couple of mangas, blow it up to standard comic book size and release them like individual trade issues. For example, I used to have a lot of Gunsmith Cats and Oh My Goddess Dark Horse comics, and I used to love those. And of course, we used to get some VHS tapes, and from comic book stores. They had some VHS sales and rentals, and that's when we first started watching anime. I don't know why we first started watching anime. It was just something we just did. Me and my brother. Me and my brother got into anime at the same time. We were both mutually interested in it. And for me, it was all downhill from there. I've never lost my love for anime. There was a couple of years in between there where I kind of, other than the mainstays of a few anime series that were long running, I didn't really keep up with a lot of anime. So there was a couple of years that there may be some big anime that was out that I never watched. But again, I did watch a lot of the longer running series, like your Shonen Jump, Naruto, and Bleach, and all that. Now, what I want to talk about today, though, is now one of the more popular shonen type shows that's out right now. Undoubtedly, and it's really, really popular. I'm thinking it's really popular. It's a pretty big hit for them. Is Boku no Hero Academia, or My Hero Academia. Is it Academia or Academia? I heard it pronounced both ways. I say Academia because that's what it sounded like to me. But this is, if you don't know the premise, in their world, it's Earth, it's regular, they have Japan, everything's the same. But a large percentage of the world of humanity, they started getting in their DNA some type of mutation that causes them to have abilities and powers. They call them quirks. And so pretty much, there's what do they work out? Only 20% of society doesn't have a quirk. Some of them could be very, very minor, or some of them could be pretty substantial in terms of ability. The ones with the more substantial abilities, they become superheroes. Or, of course, because if there's heroes, there's also villains. So that's the basic premise of the show. And the story is centered around the main character, Midoriya, who he was born without a quirk. And he's always wanted to be a hero, though. And he always thought that even without a quirk, I'm going to be a hero. I want to be, the world's greatest hero. One of my idols is the number one hero in the world, All Might, which All Might's freaking badass. And essentially he wants to do anything he can to be a hero, but he doesn't have a quirk, and he's been kind of made fun of for his whole life. They call him quirkless. But that's still that drove him on more. Now let me just say, before I get more into the story, in the grand tradition of good shonen TV series, that are fairly long running. I don't know how long this series is going to run for, but it could go for quite a while. So in the grand tradition, one of the good things that keeps the show interesting is, in my opinion, the characters. So shows like Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball, Yu Yu Hakusho, Ranma 1/2, and everything in between. Those are all my favorite shows, by the way. I love those shows. Rurouni Kenshin, so many others. Story is very important. It could be a very basic storyline, but if it's something that's engaging enough, that makes it interesting, you want to watch it. Hunter x Hunter, that's another good one. Also, probably the top thing that keeps you engaged are the characters. You want to have engaging characters, and ones that have personality, and ones that have like a backstory that makes it interesting. Now, of course, one of the biggest tropes of a superhero type of premise is that everybody has to have a backstory and has to have an interesting backstory. And they give you a lot of that in the show. I kind of wish that there was more for, like in this series, like it centers around, of course, the kids that go into the school. And there's a lot of, of course, the adult superheroes, the pros. And, of course, the main one, they kind of give you his story a little bit in trickles. But there's all kinds of other pros that I want to see the story of. Mainly because, I'm very interested in them and, how they got their powers, or how they built up their powers, and, where they came from and stuff. One of my favorite characters, only because I just love her character design, and she's damn sexy, is Mount Lady. She's a superhero that can grow like 50 feet tall, she's like a giant. There's a couple other really cool characters too, but a lot of the characters in the show, they're all, like I said, they have a big personality. They have, of course, all the main ones, they have intriguing backstory. Some of them are kind of a little bit surprising. One you would think that would be someone that kind of in a almost a Naruto and Sasuke type of way. You think one of them is gonna turn bad, but so far, spoiler alert, he's not. He doesn't look like he is. But that kind of becomes one of the story points, is that it's kind of they want to push him that way, but he doesn't so far. The show right now, it's in its third season, and they're all very, very intriguing. The first season kind of starts off with introducing the characters, and kind of introducing you to the characters first going to the school, the Hero Academy, and then goes on to the second season, where it focuses on there's a inter-school competition, almost like a tournament. All good shonen anime has had some kind of tournament at some point. Dragon Ball had the Tenkaichi Budokai. Yu Yu Hakusho, they had tournaments. Naruto, they had the Chunin exams. Bleach didn't have a tournament. No, they just had straight up fights. But yeah, this had, they have a tournament. Even Hunter x Hunter had a tournament. Hell, One Piece has tournaments. Fairy Tail has tournaments. And then the third season takes place after the tournament, and it starts off with them kind of going on a training exercise for like the summer, like the summer school, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's just badass. The show just keeps getting better and better. That's something that, like, how could it get even better? The next episode comes out and it's better. I don't understand how they do it, and it's definitely one of my favorite shows right now. That I after Dragon Ball Super, went on its hiatus. I love Dragon Ball Super. A lot of people see all kinds of flaws in it. I loved it, despite whatever flaws people might say. It went on hiatus back in like April, and since then, people are like, "Oh, what are you gonna watch?" Well, My Hero Academia came back for its third season, and I've been loving that every single week. Every time an episode comes up, download. And I freaking love it. The art style, I love the art style. It's very, heavy lines, very sharp and very clean type of anime. And then, of course, when they go into the action, the action turns very graphic and speed lines and hatching and the lines in the characters' faces turn to kind of scratchy type of looks, and it makes it so freaking awesome. There hasn't been a lot of longer running TV series for anime. They have a problem where they have different teams working on the anime. This is only really true for series that are constant, that don't take breaks between seasons. Ones that are pretty much weekly all the time, with a few exceptions of breaks, for holidays and whatnot. They have teams of animators and different directors, and you could tell certain teams of animators kind of have slightly different art style, and whatever episode they're working on, it looks rushed and it looks low budget. They don't put a lot of effort into painting the characters' colors. It's used a two-tone type of color, and that's it. Some of the character modeling can look off-model. It's just kind of like sweatshop work. They just kick it out, and it doesn't look that good. Then you have the B team. That's the C team, and then you go to the B team, where it's kind of pretty decent, but not at its best. It looks good, but when it gets to say action scenes or something, it looks really good. And you got the A teams, where the animation looks beautiful, it's very fluid, the character models are sharper on point, and it's really good. If you look at Dragon Ball, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the episode's oh shit, we're at the C team, it looks like shit. I was oh man, then the episode hits where it's an A team and it looks beautiful and you get super excited. My Hero, however, every episode looks beautiful. They put all their effort into every single episode, because like I said, it's a seasonal show. They do however many episodes they do. That's what is it, 12 episodes per season or something they've been doing so far. I think a little more than that, actually. But every single one is freaking amazing. moving along to like the story again. You know what's cool about the main superhero. I'm home already. Yay! His name is All Might, and his power is called One for All. This is quirk. Now, One for All makes you super strong, like like a Superman type of thing. You don't fly, you don't do nothing like that, but he's obviously the strongest person in the land. But the real issue, the real thing with the quirk though is it's called One for All because it kind of combines. It's a quirk that's passed down from person to person, and every person who's had it kind of lends some of their own internal power to the quirk. So they don't tell you exactly how. Do they tell you? I forget. It's been a while since they kind of told you about it. But however many people had it before, it's that much stronger for the next person who has it. Now, the main character, Midoriya, I told you, he has no quirk. He meets All Might. All Might saves him actually from a villain, and he kind of gives him Midoriya gives him like a big old praise speech. It's like, I want to be a hero like you. Like I want to, I want to do what I can. And basically, he lets his heart out. And All Might, being the number one superhero and always saving people with a smile, it's he sees Midoriya's heart and he sees it in the right place, and he's like, all right, this kid is the next kid that I'm going to choose him to pass my powers to, because the thing with All Might, his power is fading, and you know this right away. I'm not spoiling anything. You know this pretty much from the first couple episodes that he can't maintain his power, he can't maintain his strength for very long. He gets tired. But so eventually he will have to hand it down. So he chooses Midoriya to hand it down to. And the way even though he has the power, Midoriya still has to learn how to use it. And it's really cool because when he does use it, it's so powerful it breaks him. The first time he uses it, he punches something and his whole hand just breaks. And they indicated by his whole hand looking black and blue. That was really, really cool. When he starts to learn, to kind of limit himself a little bit of what to break. He'll start doing just a few things with his finger. He'll do a flick, go bing, and it'll cause a big old shockwave and hit somebody, and his finger will be broken or hurt. He might be able to do it again and it'll be completely broken, completely useless. And things that he does, it's just badass. Even though it's oh shit, that's gonna freaking hurt, and you could tell it hurts. But as he learns and as he gets better with it, hopefully, he won't be going through that anymore, because they keep giving you, every so often in the episodes, you hear Midoriya narrate, and he's always this is how I got on the path to become the number one hero. So they're setting you up from the beginning that this character, he is going to be the number one hero at some point, but this is his journey that he has to go on. So it just, the last episode that came out this week, holy shit, that shit was so awesome and almost brought me to tears. It was a very emotional episode, and that's what I love about anime. It's a cartoon, but it's just as emotional and dramatic and hard-hitting, heart-wrenching, adrenaline pumping as any other form of media can be. Whether it's with books, movies, video games, whatever, anime is just right up there with all of them. They can do all of that and more. So definitely recommend, if you haven't started watching My Hero yet, start now. Just start watching it, catch up. I believe the third season is almost over in a couple of weeks. So you definitely do some catching up. One thing that sucks is once you catch up and the season's over, you have to wait. That's the excruciating part. But it's well worth it. Well worth the wait in between the seasons. I thought when like the tournament happened, I was like, oh, this shit's so badass. I thought it couldn't get much better than that, but it gets better all the time. Even like the villains, you start to get intrigued by the villains. They're not like, faceless, crappy villains. They have interesting motivations, and they have motivations that, like the best villains that you could write, make sense. It's like motivations that you can empathize with. It's not just to do bad just to do bad. It's you have empathy. You understand them kind of, and you understand more and more. They kind of trickle you the information about the villains, but it's well done. I'm excited to see what comes next. New episode comes out this week. Can't wait. One for all, yes. Freaking love. I love All Might, and I love his move when he ever does like moves. He yells out He's very like this big buff like American looking dude, blonde hair and stuff, and very graphic, sharp, edges and very harsh shading on him, and he just looks awesome. He actually kind of reminds me of a character from, or like he looks like he's on the world of like Beautiful Joe. You ever played the game Beautiful Joe? It has that type of style where any type of shading on him is like in black with heavy lines and stuff. And he's like the only character that looks like that when he's in his All Might mode, and it's pretty cool. And the theme songs are awesome. Every single one of the intro songs are good. Outro, not so much. The new outro song, for this season, I'm not crazy of. Again, I can't praise the show enough, and I'm blabbing now, so definitely go and watch it. And that's all for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Go and enjoy My Hero Academia Plus Ultra. I love you.